Good morning, Steve. We've had some inquiries. New viewers want to know, are you a regular part of the show? And yes, you are. It originally was TK and T-Rex. T-Rex, same thing every day. And Steve started noticing we do this every day, and I want to be part of it. And that happened over about a year ago. 60 degrees at 9 o'clock, October 4th. Correction, 9:05. And the tide is incoming right now. As we are on a new moon, that means high tide in the middle of the day. So yeah, a lot of new viewers over the last couple of weeks, and I really appreciate that, and the new subscriptions and people asking a lot of questions. And we do this every morning. We go out the door, we do the weather and more. I try and give the forecast, not only for New England, it's New England centric, but we talk about what's going on around the globe, really. Well, Northern Hemisphere, let's limit it to the Northern Hemisphere. And I'm also technologically challenged, and my audio has been over-modulating the last few days with my noise-canceling Lark lavalier. So now I am using my iPhone microphone, but there are not just one microphone on the iPhone. There are several, or at least two. And when I zoom in, it changes the audio. And so I look at that, and I look over at Hull, and I say, ooh, look at the little willy-was. Calm air over here. Little ripples out there. The air is trying to come in from the southwest. So we do meteorology, and from the basic stuff to the really intense stuff. But the most basic thing about meteorology is what the air is doing. What is wind? Wind is air moving from high to low pressure. And if you want to get the forecast right, you've got to get the wind right. Good morning, cherry tomatoes. Good morning, Anna Pierre McCarthy, thank you for commenting. We're going to see each other today. And so those boats usually point into the wind, but often if there's very little wind, then the current takes over. And you can see that the boats are kind of pointed toward the southeast a little bit here. And if we do the surface analysis, where is the high pressure, where is the low pressure? New England has been the place where fronts have been coming to die or dry lately, and it's been high pressure from Greenland all the way into New England. It's been in control for the better part of the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's no exception today. So if you look at the surface map, it's a 1027, 1026 high over the Gulf of Maine, and literally no isobars over New England. An isobar is a line of constant pressure. It's the black line, and there's a very weak 1020 low pressure system on a stalled front in northern New England, and it's going to be a tough call on the air today, but I think it's going to be just about south, and then right here at the coast, probably just southeast at likely 5 to 10 miles per hour. So a great day for boating, and there's also surf once again today. And while I talk about the surf, I want to show these two images from Nantucket of people flying into Nantucket. There's a beautiful view of the island, a new account I just followed, Pigoo. That's a nickname. We don't know who it really is on X. And also the Nantucket Current. We all know who the Nantucket Current is, right? And the photograph from a plane coming in this morning of the brilliant sun over the ocean and smoke in the sky. Smoke has returned. Fires are burning out west. More on that in a moment. And the ocean, the state of the ocean is there's still a 4-foot swell, 11 seconds at Stellwagen. And surf is going to be building with these storms out over the Atlantic Ocean. So we have to watch the Atlantic Ocean, we have to watch Canada, the United States, and the Pacific Ocean, because all of that weather plays a role in what's going to happen here in New England. And Steve, people asked, what kind of cat is Steve? Steve is a Maine Coon cat, and really fun, friendly cat, and I've taught him to walk on a leash like a dog. Steve is about, I'd say, 4 or 5 years old, and he loves to sit by the bird feeder all day long. He doesn't really catch the birds. Sometimes he catches the mice. These are Montauk daisies. They're beautiful. They bloom in September into October, and if you cut them back in July, they don't fall to the ground, so that's why those are standing up. And heavy dew last night. Heavy dew. Dew is radiational cooling at night when the temperature cools to the dew point, and there was a lot of patchy fog this morning, which is burning off. The satellite imagery, and because my head is turning and the audio is going up and down on this, and I apologize for that. The satellite imagery shows the broken clouds over New England with a stalled front here. Eventually that front's going to start to move. And you got the condensation trails in the sky. You can see them on the satellite imagery, so that indicates some instability and moisture way up in the sky. When the jet plane goes by, the differential pressure above the wing causes the air to expand, and it cools and condenses into these mostly H2O lines up in the sky. Yeah, there are some other chemicals in there, but it is not the government trying to poison us. And you can't tell the difference sometimes between the cirrus clouds and the anthropogenic condensation trails. We've had a lot of sundogs lately, and that is when the light from the sun refracts off the ice crystals, six-sided ice crystals up in those super cooled clouds up there. And okay, talking about a lot of things. Let's go to, I think, the Pacific Ocean first. There's a parade of storms coming across the North Pacific, and we got to watch those. And generally speaking, when storms arrive on the West Coast, they take about 3 days to cross the country. But that has not been the case lately because of the Greenland Block, the North Atlantic Oscillation being negative, the Greenland Block. So anyhow, let's go to these storms coming in off the Pacific Ocean. There's a new one coming in right now, and then there are two more behind that, and they're going to race into Canada, and they're going to come toward New England, and then they're going to throw on the brakes and stall. The system that came in last week that we thought might pick up Helene has been stalled over Hudson Bay, Canada now for days because of high pressure over Greenland, and the storms out over the Atlantic Ocean are also running into that block on the south and east side, and they're recurving. It happened with Joyce, it happened with Isaac, it's happening now with Kirk and Tropical Storm Leslie. So the hurricanes out there are taking corners, and the hurricanes that are getting us bad are coming out of the Caribbean. And there's another system that's coming across from the Pacific Ocean into Central America, and that's probably going to cause a storm to develop in southern Mexico and the Gulf of Mexico, and a series of low pressure systems, if not Tropical Storm Milton or one or two named storms coming across Florida next week. So I'm bundling up a lot of stuff here, bundling up the Pacific, bundling up the Atlantic, and energy on the south side of these high pressure systems bundles up. So if you look at this high on the oceanic perspective, you can see that the high extends from Greenland. There's a little break in the high, a little bit there over Newfoundland, and then more high pressure right over New England and pushing the air down into the Gulf of Mexico. That's bundling energy in the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to be a problem. And the storm up there in the upper right there that was off of Ireland, look at that arrow there. That arrow is pointing towards the southwest. That storm is backing, also indicative of a North Atlantic Oscillation being negative, Greenland Block. And how that plays out in our weather. There's another way to illustrate the jet stream here, the flow aloft, and I'm going to use the fires that are burning now in Idaho and Wyoming. There's a huge area with a red flag warning in effect. Record heat off to the south in California. We've got frost advisories in Idaho and points north, and right in there's so much wind and dry air that's a huge red flag warning for a huge area. You can follow Hot Shots on Twitter, on X it's now called, to keep track of those fires that are burning. And the smoke plume on the guidance shows those plumes coming out of Oregon and Idaho and Washington and Montana, and coming right across the nation and going right over New England. There was a serious smoke plume that went over us and then extends all the way out into the Atlantic Ocean, all the way to Ireland. And notice how that smoke plume that came into New England yesterday kind of stopped and stalled. That's part of the block. And so now I want to go to, before we get there, it's opening day for the Topsfield Fair, and we're all rooting for Henry Swenson, an extraordinary person in so many regards, including weather. And he's got a huge pumpkin there that's still getting some water fed to it. This is yesterday. It's headed to the Topsfield Fair to be weighed today, and his personal best is so far 1,197 pounds. So he's hoping that this one weighs 1,200 pounds to set a record for himself, and it's going to be fun to watch that at the Topsfield Fair pumpkin weigh-off today. Beautiful day. Boston 5-day forecast shows the beautiful weather today near 70, and then tomorrow there is this front coming through. There may be a few raindrops in spots, but The front, again, is going to be weakening and kind of decaying. I think in Maine we may end up with enough rain to make some puddles, but not much wind with it. Very few isobars with it tomorrow. And then on Sunday, the clouds are going to be in and out, and it looks like the temperatures are going to start to cool off. So there is some another additional cooler air coming in on Monday, Sunday into Monday. And the next front on Monday, that one's going to perhaps be more serious next week. So now I'm going to go to the Euro. What we show every day is called the Euro, and we use pivotalweather.com, and watch the storm that comes in on the upper left on the Pacific Ocean. Look at it racing across Canada. A weak front comes through here tomorrow, and that storm coming across Canada gets to about Hudson Bay, and then it just puts on the brakes as it runs into the block. Freeze it here Monday morning. We have that 996 low in Hudson Bay that's going to stall. We have a front coming right through New England that's also going to stall. And we have systems in the Gulf of Mexico. Looks like a couple of them with heavy rain for Florida. There'll be flooding. Whether it gets a name or not, that's going to be a serious situation with the rain there on the south side of the high pressure system that's being sliced in half by this front over New England. And there's a low developing very close to Nantucket on Monday. Now, if I put it back into motion, you can see the low pressure system that's near Nantucket deepens to about 1,006. It looks like it wants to go off the screen, but then it puts on the brakes and it stalls and it goes north, and then it goes northwest. It's going in a counterclockwise flow as an upper level captures it, and upper level flow captures it. And then if we stop it again on Wednesday, that low north of New England has now backed up and deepened into the 990s, and there's an upper level low with elevation snowflakes here on Wednesday, and storm still going off of Florida, and high pressure well off to our west. There's going to be record warmth trying to come in our direction, but it now looks like if this guidance trend is correct, that it may be cut off here as we head into Columbus Day weekend. It's going to be a tight squeeze between building cold in Canada and warmth trying to come in our direction. Put it back into motion. All those black lines are isobars. It is windy, and we're on the cooler side of the front here Thursday into Friday, and then it looks like it tries to release next Saturday, but as fast as the air tries to come in from the south, another front comes in here with new cooler air coming in on Saturday and wind. So it looks like the record heat will be held at bay for Columbus Day weekend. And then if you stop it way out at day 10, now we're getting to around October, right around Columbus Day, actually, there's a strong storm north of New England in the 990s, and some serious snow and ice on the north side of that, with a cold front coming back at us, and that would cut the warmth off next Sunday, Monday. Lots of changes are going to happen. The odds of this all working out as it shows on these maps is very low. We saw something like that trying to happen over the Great Lakes for this week from last week, and it did not happen. So it just indicates that there's a serious battle going on between the deepening cold air across the North Pole trying to come south and the expansive area of warm to record. It is record warm in the southwestern United States, and an incredibly fast flow and a negative North Atlantic oscillation. Okay, that was, birds. That was probably way more than you wanted. I don't know how much you want. Right now the flag is still, and we've got the condensation trails, and the Lynx is right over there. Captain Peacock coming to town. Sean gets a break, and we'll have, is that the Bruins flag? Of course it's the Bruins flag. And we'll have more from the Lynx coming in tomorrow. As for the and more, it's called Weather and More. And more is usually what did I see the day before shooting this. And yesterday I was mostly just watching the sky and lamenting how I couldn't get the wind direction right yesterday. That was frustrating. And I kept thinking I was done with my video, and then the sun went over the horizon and the sky kept getting better. So I ended up on the roof there, getting some imagery from the roof just because it was so pretty, and I couldn't see over these trees. So I was standing right up there, right next to my Tempest weather system, where if you watch my time lapse every day, it always says it's 32 degrees. I don't know what's wrong with the thermometer on that thing. It's just another thing I have to fix, along with the audio. All right, thanks for watching. 15 minutes and probably about another 7 minutes with the and more. And I appreciate all your comments. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Steve, Maine Coon, and Mitt the Maine Coon, we have two of them, is inside. All right, I take it back. I'm not done. I forgot to talk. You know, the name of this this YouTube channel is Surf Ski Weather. and it's because I like surfing and skiing, and the two seasons are getting close together. But I forgot to mention, with Hurricane Kirk out there, this is Null School, great graphic that shows wind among the many beautiful graphics. With Hurricane Kirk out there, it's in Category 4, almost 5 storm, and it's emanating this massive groundswell. Just think of it as someone dropping a mountain into the middle of the ocean, and the ripples come up all the way to the east coast of North America. And by Sunday, we are expecting a 17-second ground swell. The longer the period between the tops of the waves, the stronger the force of the ocean, and it is going to be real big, strong surf here, probably about 6-foot swell at 17 seconds. That's the kind of swell that can be, it looks so innocent until you go walk out on a jetty and it just sweeps your legs out from under you with these waves that are going to be so powerful here Sunday into Monday. So surf weather next week, and also ski weather, because the ski areas are going to turn on their snow guns and get a little frosting. So surf, ski weather. Okay. And we also do a lot of boating and gardening. Is that enough yet? Talk to you. And more from yesterday. Good Thursday morning from North Weymouth. What a day. Air is not coming in from off the ocean for a change. The boats don't know which way to point now because the current and the wind are both light. There's Andrew and Sophie doing some bass fishing. Paya and Leif having a quiet morning, I will hope. And look at the boats, all pointed in kind of different directions, as the air is almost still right here on our side of the hill, but way out there you can see some willy waws as the air is picking up from the west-southwest this morning. First time for everything, we got 2 drones up there. I think that they're drones owned by the town, maybe? And apparently there's somebody that's in distress down on the beach. That's all I know. And altocumulus coming in from the north, tending to evaporate. Just started going for the door, and Rex grabbed some socks. It's his instinct to grab socks and go out the door. Not to report an accurate forecast, though. Where are you going, T-Rex? To report that they said the wind was not going to come in off the ocean. Well, at least here on the east-facing shores, that flag is kind of fluttering from the northeast, and the boats are clearly pointed toward the northeast. So we clearly got the wind direction wrong today. Did you go surfing based on my forecast of an offshore breeze? Oh, sorry about that. T-Rex, you going to lose any sleep over that? Apparently not. I don't like it. We get some great wind vanes over here. Bring it. Legit sea breeze. That is sinking air over the water and rising air over the land. At least someone's making use of the wind. Hello, neighbor. We got another one over here. And then there are the inland clouds rising up, warm over the land. Would have thought we were done with that high pressure off to the east and northeast for a few days, but it's relentless this last 4 weeks. The boats are moving though. Fewer of them in the water, but enjoying this beautiful late summer weather. 5 o'clock. A lot of boaters out there. Looks like the air is trying to come around a little bit more from the west as the sun gets lower. That would make sense. You lose that heating over the land. And smoke is back in our sky. Just ran an animation of the smoke plumes. Looks like they're coming from around Idaho and the northern Rockies. So some places way too much water, other places not enough. And there goes the sun to the south of our trees. The days of me getting a sunset from the backyard are numbered. This may be it for the day. I'm not sure where we're going to watch the sunset. guess what? Planes have turned around, they're taking off to the east again. Get back on the horse. Try again tomorrow, which is today. Appreciate your viewership. We still have some swimmers around. I learned your name over the summer, but it's slipped my mind. Hope you don't slip on that seaweed. I know you've walked it 1,000 times. It's slippery down there. But he swims every day, so he knows what's going on. Goes under like the cormorant we were watching the other day. Let's see where he comes back up. Nice. It's a good 10, 12 feet right there. Smoke, cirrus, cumulus, altostratus, condensation trails, and for our grand finale today, a sundog in the smoke, in the cirrus. Lay us out, Captain Spacetime. The tune is called Up and Down. There's my Tempest. I'm not sure why it always shows the temperature of 32. Special occasion. Getting up here for a special red sunset over the links. So pretty. Need to cut down a few trees. All right, have some time lapse. Great watching those diurnal clouds build and then decay.